If you were elected, would you want to raise the starting salaries for Children's Division child abuse investigators? The currently starting salary is $44,000 a year. Lots of people say that just is not enough to keep that fully staffed. What's kind of your thought on that?
My first thought is we need to look at the entire state budget to look at where that money is going. We spend $9.7 billion that we say is toward education, and yet fewer than 25% of Missouri eighth graders are proficient in math and reading, not calculus and Latin, math and reading. So as governor, we're going to look at that entire budget to look at how we can not only reallocate those funds, but how we can start sending more of those funds back to the people of the state. It is unsustainable to have a budget that's doubled in the past 5 years.
Well, first of all, I think there are a lot of folks in our state government that do very important things that I'd like to see compensated more than they are. I think the best way to actually make that happen is to cut out some of the waste that we have in government, and maybe with fewer government employees, we could afford to pay them at a better rate. I'll give you the example of education. We collectively spend more on education every single year, adjusted for inflation, than we ever have before, and yet we still have some of the lowest paid teachers in the state. How does that happen? The reason that happens is because we have such a bureaucracy, in Jefferson City in particular, but in government at all levels, that the bureaucracy is really what's winning in our culture right now. That's the status quo I'm talking about. And if we had a reformer, somebody that's going to go in there and being willing to kick over some of these apple carts in the places of power, and you all know that I've been very comfortable doing that during my time in the Senate, I think we could achieve some savings, and maybe we could afford to pay them a little bit better.
Well, listen, we've been a part of several different pay raises for state employees. Having a business here and being in Jefferson City the last 35 years, I know how valuable our state employees are. So we want to make sure that we compensate people accordingly. The problem we have in state government, including in that division, is competition from the private sector has raised salaries very quickly. And so we've got to figure out a way to keep up and be competitive.